Hello and welcome to Mind Shifters Radio. I'm Tim Hayes. I'm your host for the first hour. And today is Thursday, August 21st, 2025. As always, we're grateful to everyone who's joining us here today, whether you're listening live or through the archives, as we spend another couple of hours teaching and supporting people in using some of the most powerful, effective, efficient, and accessible tools I've ever encountered. These tools are available absolutely free through the tireless efforts of Dr. Michael and Jeanie Ryce on the website at whyagain.org. If you go to that website and click on the two words that say Start Here in the upper left-hand corner, it will take you to a page where you can download and read Chapter 24 of Dr. Michael Ryce's book. His book is titled, Why Is This Happening to Me Again? And that chapter of the book contains a narrative description and explanation of the primary tool in this work. That tool is called the Reality Management Worksheet, sometimes called the Reality Management Wake-Up Sheet. And it's a tool I've been using to great effect for over 20 years now to improve the quality of my life and most of my relationships, and to turn any negative emotional experience I have into part of the infallible guidance system that each and every one of us has been given. You can also download the actual worksheet process itself. It's a simple PDF file. Click the link, download it, print it off, copy it as often as you'd like, and use it over and over again, absolutely free. You can also download a whole host of audio files of shows just like this one where people have been stepped through the worksheet process. And if you choose to listen to them even repeatedly, they can serve as a powerful tutorial for you to help you get maximum benefit from these tools in the shortest amount of time possible. You can also go to your app store and type in the three words Heartland Aramaic Forgiveness. And if you choose to do that before you're done typing the word forgiveness, you'll see the glowing heart icon. And if you decide to tap on that, it'll let you download a completely free and private app. The app contains the Reality Management Worksheet, an abbreviated version of that worksheet process, and a copy of the Dragon Klingon game, which is a wonderful way to introduce these tools to even younger audiences. We hope people do all of that soon and often, primarily because it tends to improve the quality of people's lives the more they actively apply these tools in their lives, and secondarily because it tends to prompt comments, questions, answers, and testimonials. If you have any of those to share with us, please do so. You can email me at tjh@mindshifters-academy.org, or you can email Jeanie at jeanie@whyagain.org. That's whyagain.org. If we get a question or a comment from you, we'll address it on the internet show, and then as time allows, send you a notification about what day and time that occurred so you can listen back to the archives for your feedback or your input. Also, you could choose to join us live. If you open up a web browser and type in zoom.us, say join a meeting and type in the meeting ID 853-2357-4173. That's 853-2357-4173. You can call a phone number and type that in, or you can open a web browser and type that in. If you're live in a web browser, feel free to unmute and speak up and let us know what's going on for you. We greatly appreciate when people do that because it makes it so much easier for us to live into our intention with this work. So welcome, and how can we support you today?
Hey, Dr. Tim.
Hello.
Look who's here. I got my soul tribe with me. We decided to do, this is Andrea, you met, and Lindsay, yeah. Have you met Dr. Tim yet? No. Okay. It's my soul tribe. So we thought.
Welcome, Soul Tribe. You
So
guys have a logo and a theme song and everything, or just?
Not yet.
Just our cult leader.
Yes. Yeah, just cult leader. That's it. But yeah, I wanted to, obviously Andrea knows you. Lindsay hasn't had the experience of you yet to have the reflection that reflections are going to offer. So I just wanted to say hi, and we'll see what we get to hear today.
All right. Well, Susan, thank you for that. I was thinking since our last show that I don't have your email address. So one of the things that happened as a result of the show yesterday was I started reading from lesson 3 again, or no, not lesson 3, lesson 1.
Yes.
Who knows what I was reading or what day it was? I don't know. But anyway, then I started thinking, you're one of the people who has mentioned that you haven't read The Way of Mastery. And so I was curious as to what that little dipping of your toe into the Way of Mastery resonated for you, and whether or not you had comments about, do you want to reread The Way of Mastery with commentary? Or so I couldn't ask that question in email because I don't have your email. So if you so desire, shoot me an email at the any of the places you know to reach me, and then I'll have that for future reference.
Awesome. And just so you know, I'll say it right now, it's a heaven yes. I'm also doing the Course in Miracles right now, which I love, and it's every day today. It's there is no love but God's. Lesson 127. You can't make it up. And I mean
Now, here it is. Look.
Okay, yes.
Right now, I have no idea what day it is in terms of Course in Miracles, but this is what I was working on this morning to read today, because something else and because something else. So these things were coming together. I thought, well, I guess I guess we won't decide today what we're going to do going forward, but today this is what we'll do.
Love it.
And I don't know, but at least 3 different times in the past couple of weeks, the lesson I was talking about yesterday and 127 came up. So I pulled it up this morning and read it and said, yeah, this is what we have to read today.
And I also sent it to Michael this morning and both said this might be a good lesson to bring on the show. So that's interesting. And yeah, it's really landing, and with all the reflections you've been giving me. Went through a really dark day yesterday with one of my teachers that I do healing work with, that he helps me. I do inner child work. I went right back to my birth, right back, and went in through a meditation to get her. So it was real, lots of tears, and seeing how I, even in that moment, disassociated from feelings. So yeah, now I get to move into beyond meaning and just have a direct experience. So
yeah, that's there aren't any words for that, so we'll just let that sit there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So okay, we're gonna listen now. Hi everybody, by the way, Cammie and Susan and Sally, and you can see my soul tribe, and hopefully we'll see some of you at November at Michael's work too.
All right, well, thank you for being there and welcome. Today, I thought I would ask the question, as one of the people that I've interviewed for the On Your Mind podcast. Her name is Sue Muncaster, Muncaster. And her little blog, or whatever you want to call it, is Teton Strong, Teton, like the Grand Teton Mountains, Strong, Strong. And she wrote a post today asking, what makes life worth living? She writes, this is an important question, perhaps the most important, says neuroscientist and philosopher Sam Harris on his Waking Up app. He writes, if we don't know, we can't prioritize what we actually value. We tend to live as if we have answered this question for ourselves. However, most of the time, we're just doing one thing after the next, following our desires, reacting to what happens out in the world, etc. And only rarely do we step back and consider what actually matters. Close quotes. So then she quotes Nietzsche. Nietzsche writes, suppose that we said yes to a single moment, then we have not only said yes to ourselves, but to the whole of existence. For nothing stands alone, either in ourselves or in things. And if our soul did not but once vibrate and resound with a chord of happiness, then all of eternity was necessary to bring forth this one occurrence. And in this single moment, when we said yes, all of eternity was embraced, redeemed, justified, and affirmed. So here's a little quote from Nietzsche that says, what Way of Mastery and Course in Miracles and Krishnamurti and all these other people would point out to us, Einstein, you're not separate or separated from all of humanity, from anyone or anything. And the dream of separation that you pour your mind energy into, and or the specialness for a few people and things closest to you, creates a prison for you. The only way out of the prison, as Einstein offers, is to extend that special affection to everyone and all of creation. Now, a similar thing has happened recently on the internet show. Dr. Michael Ryce has talked about walking into a Costco and beaming love out of his eyes at everyone he sees. That's a step-by-step how-to of one person's way to try and do what Einstein calls us to in that quote, to extend that special affection we have for a few people and things closest to us, but extend it equally to everyone and all of creation. So, what makes life worth living? There's a question. What makes life worth living? One of the things that comes to my mind to answer what makes life worth living is if you could understand there is no love but the Creator's. Now, in Course in Miracles, the regulatory speech, a little bit off, we've heard about that. And when I read either the Way of Mastery or the Course in Miracles, wherever it says God, I put in words like all that is, creator, source energy, whatever, because so many people have emotionally loaded responses for the word God. But the more I read this, the more I thought, okay, so here's this awareness of connection and oneness as a truth, as the actuality, as Michael Ryce would call it, and that everything about viewing people as separate, viewing one as better or worse, any kind of a judgment, is of thought and is of a thought disorder, as Michael Ryce would call it, is an error in thought. It is a perception that we generate, each of us individually, based on whatever's getting stimulated by our five senses and how it's resonating thoughts, beliefs, and trauma energies that we're carrying with us from the past. The actuality is we aren't separate, we're all connected, and what you do for yourself benefits everyone. If it's a true benefit to you, it will be a true benefit to all of life. So lesson 127 from the Way of Mastery in the workbook is titled, There is no love but God's.
Just to say it's Course in Miracles, not Way of Mastery.
Thank you. You're going to have to keep correcting me with that, and it's a good thing to have that on the record. This is Course in Miracles, lesson 127. Perhaps you think that different kinds of love are possible. Of course you do. We've been trained to think we've got brotherly love, we've got erotic love, we've got agape love. Of course we think that. Course in Miracles is pointing to the obvious. It's going to offer a different possibility here. Perhaps you think there is one kind of love for this and one kind of love for that, a way of loving one, another way of loving another, still another. And yet, capital T truth is love is one. It has no separate parts and no degrees, no kinds nor levels, no divergencies, and no distinctions. It is like itself, unchanged throughout. It never alters with a person or a circumstance. It is the heart of God, of creation, of all that is, and also of its, God, light, love, its offspring. Here they use the word son, but in the ancient meaning for this, son means any product of, any offspring of. It's not a gender issue. Just like most likely when we find out the actual truth of our existence, we're probably going to find out that this energy, this cosmic intelligence that we're referring to with the word God doesn't have a gender. So the first paragraph says, look, pay attention to all the divisions your mind tries to create, not just between you and somebody else, but even in your thoughts about what love is, what life is, what the universe is. And at least call it into question, at least open for yourself the possibility that everything you've ever been taught by people and language about this thing they're pointing at called love might not be the whole picture. Second paragraph reads, love's meaning is obscure to anyone who thinks that love can change. In other words, if you think a special love for this person, a special one for that one, you don't really understand love at all, according to this lesson. You don't understand the nature of what's being pointed at with our words. The person who thinks love can change does not see that changing love must be impossible. And thus that person thinks that he can love at times certain people, certain situations, and hate at others. That person also thinks that love can be bestowed on one and yet remain itself, that love can remain true to itself, even if it is withheld from others. Another place in the Course of Miracles, it talks about how if you refuse to extend love to anyone or any situation, you're also keeping it from the wounded place in your own heart that needs healing. Paragraph goes on to say that to believe these things of love is to not understand it. If it could make such distinctions, it, meaning love, would have to judge between the righteous and the sinner. And it would have to perceive the offspring of the Creator in separate parts. Now, here's that word perceive, which, at different places, I may be slightly misquoting it, but in the Course of Miracles, it says things like perception was created as an attack on God, or light, or love, or all that is. In other words, it's this cheap copy that the ego has to try to represent the actuality of life, the flow, the ebb and flow of life. It's just the pictures that my mind creates in response to its interpretation of the stimulation that's hitting it and what it's resonating from my past. Perception is not actuality. Perception, as it calls us to in the way of mastery, needs to be released, detached from, dismantled. This is part of why Michael Ryce has been saying lately, hey, the past couple of years, he's been asking to have his mind taken away, take my mind away, take my thoughts away. Because that's the stuff my perception is created from, or manufactured from would be a better way to say it. So the third paragraph reads, love cannot change, as it is one thing itself. It is one whole thing. And one of the ways it's been referred to is it is the field in which we live and move and have our being. That's God, that's light, that's love, that's spirit, that's God consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It can't change because it is in one moment all that is. As it is one itself, it looks on all things as one. It understands the connection. It doesn't create love itself. This flow of creation does not create separation or a thought of separation. The meaning of love lies in oneness. And it must elude the mind that thinks of it as partial or in part. So if you cling to the idea that what your senses are showing you is the truth, then the true nature of love or your being in connection to other things eludes you. So try and let that sink in. If you think in terms of, I'm over here and you're over there and I love you, Michael Ryce would say, it's not a verb. You can't do love to somebody. It's the substance, the energy of life itself. It's this creative energy that gave rise to everything and within which we have the capacity to choose thoughts that help create for us an experience of being separate when in truth there is no separation. So this paragraph goes on and says, there is no love but God's, and all of love is his. So there is nothing other than the energy of creation. Everything arises within it, and it is all. There is no other principle that rules where love is not. Love is a law without an opposite. So it isn't even what they're trying to point out here is that it's not love or hate. It's not love or fear. They talk about it because we have these words in our language. We have these experiences we're trying to describe. But of course, in Miracles, in various places, unless I'm mistaken, says, there's either only love or fear, and only love is real. Right? Like in the intro to this book, it says, that's all there is. The actual quote isn't coming to me. I'm not going to take the diversion to read it. But in the opening paragraphs, nothing unreal exists and nothing real can be attacked. Stuff like that. It's in here. The knowledge is woven through this entire book. All there is creation extending, and you're a part of it. You're an integrated part of it. Love is a law without an opposite. So fear is not real and hatred is not real unless you're looking within the mind that's trying to create evidence of its ability to be separate from all that is. The paragraph goes on. Its wholeness is the power of holding everything as one, the link between the Father and its offspring, which holds them both forever as the same. No course whose purpose is to teach you to remember what you really are could fail to emphasize that there can never be a difference in what you really are and what love is. So in other words, every course that wants to teach you about yourself must recognize that you are love expressing in form. You are the energy of creation extending in form. In lesson 4 in the Way of Mastery, it says, listen, please, if the next time somebody asks you who you are, don't give them a name or a job title or a political affiliation or a religious group. Tell them the truth. Say to them, I am infinite and eternal. I have never been born and I will never taste death. I shine forth as a sunbeam to the sun. I am the extension of the Creator's love, and I stand before you to extend that love to you. Now, I've amended it slightly for a regulatory speech. It says, I stand before you to love you, right? I'm the effect of God's love, and I stand before you to love you. But the essence of this message is in these deep spiritual teachings, clear as a bell to my eye and ear. No course whose purpose is to teach you to remember what you really are could fail to emphasize that there can't ever be a difference between what you really are and what love is. Love's meaning is your own, and it is shared by the Creator itself. For what you are is what the Creator is. There is no love but the Creator's. And what it is everywhere everything is. There is no limit placed upon the Creator, and therefore there are no limits placed upon you. You are unlimited as well. The fear-based mind, the religiously trained mind, will probably be stirring up some things for some people here. Oh, he's saying that he's God, or that we're God, or that's blasphemy, etc. If any tightness or tension comes up as you're listening to this, and please do yourself a favor and register, keep the eyes closed from time to time and scan the body. Notice the energies that are moving in this system you call a body as you hear things like this. There's no limit placed on any being, because all beings are part of creation, and creation is limitless. God is limitless. The Creator is limitless. The fifth paragraph reads, no law the world obeys can help you grasp love's meaning. What the world believes was made to hide love's meaning and to keep it dark and secret. There is not one principle the world upholds but violates the truth of what love is and what you are as well. So in other words, this is a kind of a restatement of that quote from another place in the course where it says, perception was made as an attack on God. Not one law of the world does anything except hide you from your awareness of yourself as love and hide the meaning of love and your true nature from you and everyone else. There is not one principle the world lives by, upholds, promotes, that doesn't violate the truth, capital T truth, of what love is, of what life is, of what creation is. And you are one with all of creation. The next paragraph reads, seek not within the world to find yourself, capital S self, your true self. Love is not found in darkness and in death. And that's what this world that you've created with your perception, that you argue with people about, I can't believe you said that to him, or why weren't you here on time, or geez, why did you spill that coffee? All of that stuff that we choose to get tight and tense and upset about, all of that stuff that we focus on in the moments we're forgetting our true nature as love, is darkness, is a cover-up to hide or distract us from our true nature. And yet, it reads, it is perfectly apparent to the eyes that see and the ears that hear love's voice. It is love itself. It, the connection of all things, the singularity of existence. It is perfectly apparent to the eyes that see and ears that hear love's voice. Today, we practice making free your mind of all the laws you think you must obey, of all the limits under which you live, and all the changes that you think are part of human destiny. Today, take a breath, listen to what's coming. soften. Today, we take the largest single step this course requests in your advance towards its established goal. Today, in this lesson, if you can accept, if you can start to explore for yourself, if you can start to question every belief you have about how you're separate and love is different flavors and colors, and if you start to question that, you will be taking the largest single step that this course requests you to take in your advance towards the goal of this course. Next paragraph. If you achieve even the faintest glimmering, this particular point in the Course in Miracles, I think, was written specifically for Susan Bingham. I'm pretty sure. If you achieve even the faintest glimmering of what love means today, you have advanced in distance without measure and in time beyond the count of years to your release. Because Susan Bingham tends to think that she's got to get it all right and do it perfectly, and she'll never get there because she's so far from it. This paragraph's for you, Susan, or anybody who thinks that. If you achieve even the faintest glimmering of what love means today, you've advanced in a distance without measure and in time beyond the count of years to your eventual release. Let us together then be glad to give some time to the Creator today and to understand that there is no better use for time than just this. No better use of time than what? No better use of time than to connect your awareness to your connection, your oneness with all of creation and your Creator. Next paragraph. For 15 minutes, twice today, I don't know, can you spare 30 whole minutes out of your day? 15 minutes twice today. Escape from every law in which you now believe. Open your mind and rest. If you insist on talking, understand it is not valuable. So how do you escape twice today from every law in which you believe? You simply quiet down. You simply move into observation and being rather than doing. He goes on. The world that seems to hold you prisoner can be escaped by anyone who does not hold it dear. Now, Michael was talking about this a number of times over the past few days. You're the upset, the problem, the difficulty in your life will not maintain itself any longer than the thought that gave rise to it is cherished. If you just pull your value away from your negative thoughts or your negative beliefs, they fall away. They're false anyway. The only thing that gives them the appearance of reality and solidity in your life is the fact that you keep pouring your mind energy into the fact that they're real. No law the world obeys can help you grasp love's meaning. What the world believes was made to hide love's meaning and to keep it dark and secret. There's not one principle the world upholds that doesn't violate the truth of what love is, and therefore what you are as well. Seek not within the world to find your capital S self. Love is not found in darkness and death. What is darkness and death? Your thoughts about the thing, as Krishnamurti would point out, are not the thing. The thing itself is light, is love, is breath, is creation extending. Your perception of it is a cheap copy and a darkness, a veil between you and the direct experience. So love is not found in darkness and death, yet it is perfectly apparent to the eyes that see and the ears that hear love's voice. Instantly, as I say these things, I've got echoes in my mind of dozens of time over the years where people say, when they hear this kind of thing, they say, well, then why does that happen? And what is the cause? And that's what Michael Ryce would call the pseudo solution of the non-being mind, trying to figure it out. If your mind goes there to questions of, gee, but why is that happening? Just notice that's the chatter of your mind trying to fight for its right to be right. And as the Course and other great teachings point out, you have a choice. You can either be right or happy. You can't be both. Not a single principle that the world upholds is in line with the truth. They all violate the essence of what love is, and they hide from you your true nature as well. So how can you practice making yourself free of all of this? You just quiet down. For 15 minutes twice in the day, the simple way to escape from every law in which you now believe, the simple way is you get quiet and you go into questioning, you go in direct observation mode. So it's asking for 15 minutes twice a day, open your mind and rest. The world that seems to hold you prisoner can be escaped by anybody who withdraws their affection or cherishing of that set of thoughts, beliefs, activities, people, etc. Withdraw all value you have placed upon the world's meager offerings and its senseless gifts, and let the gifts of the Creator flood in to replace them all. Call to your Father, your Creator, your Source, with certainty that its voice will answer. The Creator has promised this, and the Creator himself, herself, itself, will place a spark of truth within your mind wherever you give up a false belief, wherever you give up a dark illusion of your own reality. Your illusion of your reality and your illusion of what love itself means. Give it up, call to your Creator, call to Source, and a spark of the capital T truth will be placed in your mind in place of the false belief that you cherished until moments before. The Creator will shine through your idle thoughts today and help you understand the capital T truth of capital L love. In loving gentleness, your Creator will abide with you as you allow its voice to teach love's meaning to your clean and open mind. Not too many lessons from now, maybe 40 lessons from now, maybe only 20 lessons from now, there will be a lesson that says, open the curtain in your practicing by putting away everything you think you want, letting go of everything you think you want, and your trifling treasures put away, and leave a clean and open space where the Christ can come and offer you salvation. So this is presaging that. This is a preview of what's to come in 146. If you call out to Source, with certainty that Source's voice will answer. Source will place a spark of truth within your mind. Wherever you give up or release your false belief in any dark illusion, any thought of separation, any need for specialness, any need to be right, you'll have a clean and open space where the Creator will shine through your idle thoughts and help you understand the truth of love. In loving gentleness, the Creator will abide with you as you allow it, right? Remember, we've talked about this time and time again. If I say no to spirit or no to Christ mind, or it won't override my choice or my decision. Michael Ryce would say it's a decision, because he would say the only true choice is the spiritual choice of awareness of our true nature, etc. The point is, if you ask, it shall be opened. Knock, and it shall be answered. Ask for the Creator, your source, to shine through your idle thoughts and help you understand the truth of love, and it will happen. In loving gentleness, your source will abide with you and allow its voice to teach love's meaning to your clean and open mind, and your source will bless the lesson with Source's love, with your true nature and awareness of it. Next paragraph. Today, the legion of the future years of waiting for salvation disappears before the timelessness of what you learn. How many times have you heard, we only have the present moment? Be here now, as Ram Dass would write. We can create the thought of eons and lifetimes and multiple lifetimes and past lives. We can create all of those and feel them, feel the full experience of them, because we're creating our experience through our choice of where we focus our conscious awareness in each moment. And as I like to say, as a distillation from the Course in Miracles and Way of Mastery, you have the infinite capacity to choose the focus of your conscious awareness. And it is that focus of your conscious awareness that actually creates your experience of life in each new present moment. So we've been conditioned to believe, oh my gosh, it's a long, hard journey and I may never get there, and he's so far ahead of me and she's light years beyond even him, and I'm glad I'm so far ahead of her and him, and all of that will disappear. The legion of future years and this whole idea of waiting for salvation will disappear before the timelessness of the truth in this lesson, if you will let it in. If you let in the truth of this lesson, there's a line in the Way of Mastery in the 6th lesson, in the beginning of the intro, it says, "Greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends." And then, almost as though they need a better editor, it says, the same things again in italics. Greetings, indeed, greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. If you understand the meaning of this greeting, if you comprehend the depth of each term used, already you know all there is to know, and you are well prepared to extend the love of God forever, the love of the Creator forever. Now it goes on to explain why it says it, and it takes each word and tells you the meaning. But that's a sidebar away from the Course in Miracles, lesson 127, where it says, I think it was on paragraph 10 here, where it says, today, all that thought you have about how long it's going to take you to reach salvation and all the work you have to do, It will disappear before the timelessness of the truth that's in this lesson if you let it in. So let us today give thanks that we are spared a future that is like our past. Today we leave the past behind us, never more to be remembered, as we raise our eyes upon a different present, where a future dawns unlike the past in every attribute. The world in infancy is newly born, and we will watch it grow in health and strength to shed its blessing upon all who come to learn, to cast aside the world that they thought was made in hate to be love's enemy. Because we're already talking about there is no such thing as fear, there is no such thing as hate. There's only, other places they say, because we're trying to get words to express what seems to be a paradox. But please remember, the mind that creates an idea of a paradox is simply a mind that doesn't realize it's only looking at a tiny bit of everything that's going on in that moment. If one mind can step back and see the totality, it will see that everything fits together. Everything makes sense. There is no such thing as a true paradox. Today we leave the past behind us, never more to be remembered, and we raise our eyes upon a different present, where a future dawns, unlike the past in every attribute. The world in infancy is newly born, and we will watch it grow in health and strength to shed its blessing upon all who come to learn to cast aside the world they thought was made in hate to be love's enemy. Now are they all made free, right along with us. Now are they all welcomed and recognized as our brothers and sisters in the Creator's love. We will remember them throughout the day because we cannot leave a part of us outside our love if we would know our true self, our capital S self. Guy Finley says, you want to get to heaven, but you think somebody told you, in order to get to heaven, you have to love your life. And so you say, well, I love this and this and this, but I don't really like that. And he says, you can't not love any single part of your life and still say you love life. It's a totality. Everything you've ever been through is just a part of the flow of life. And yes, some are more intense than others. Some have physical pain attached. Some have hurt and confusion that you can generate around them. And yet, it's all part of the flow. And the vast majority of discomfort and suffering that you have experienced in your life, Guy Finley would say, is the bitter fruit of a comparative life. And here they would say, it is the false creation made to substitute for the truth of the world that the Creator created, that you are a part of and never been separate from. Now we are all connected and we see it and feel it. We will remember our connection to all of life and our brothers and sisters throughout the day, because we cannot leave a part of us outside of our love if we would truly know ourselves, our true self. So at least 3 times an hour, think of one who makes the journey with you and who came to learn what you must learn. And as he comes to mind, give him this message from yourself, your capital S self, your true self. I bless you, brother, with the love of the Creator, which I would share with you. For I would learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but the Creator's, and yours, and mine, and everyone's. At least 3 times every hour, try to have a thought like that, or that very thought. So what is it that makes life worth living? That's a good question. Would it make life worth living to you if you understood that you are the extension of the creative energy that some call love into form, and that one of the most joy resonating activities that you can engage in is to tune the intellect into the awareness of the false pictures your perception shows you, and tune your awareness to your infinite connection to that which created you. And then perhaps you'll take the next step and decide, as the Way of Mastery calls us to simply bless all of creation. Somebody's got to do it. Way of Mastery says you might as well just sit on the park bench and bless creation in that moment. So that's the end of lesson 127. And I'm going to give us 5 or 6 minutes for comments or questions. I'm going to work at ending on time today, unlike yesterday. How's this landing for people? What are people noticing in the listening?
A bunch.
Welcome, Celinda. What do you have to offer?
I have to offer that this was exactly what confirmation of where I am.
I heard this is exactly what, and then you faded.
Confirmation.
Hold on a minute. Take a breath or two, shake your phone, and try again.
Maybe it's the wind. Can you hear me now?
Try again. I can hear you now.
Great.
And now I can't.
Oh.
So perhaps you should just write an email and send it to me with your comments, and I'll be happy to read it later, or if it gets here right now.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I did hear that loud and strong.
Good. I've got my back to the wind. That must be what's happening. It's carrying my voice away. Okay. It's a confirmation of what I am experiencing in my living at this moment. And I am so grateful you read it. I might let you know, if I haven't already, that I actually reordered A Course in Miracles after working with Michael last week. And it's been a crazy, crazy week. A bunch of things have happened. I share them with you because they're right in line with what you're talking about. I always suspected that, on head level, that my mission in this life, for this world, for myself and everything else, is that I am the connector, the convener. And I have dissed myself in so many ways because I wasn't this. I had no awareness of time. I was lost in my head, all of those things. But now I'm experiencing what it means to be a connector. What you read today about this moment is the only you have.
This moment what?
Is the only moment you have.
Yes.
Past lives, future lives. I couldn't understand why I wasn't interested in lives. I should be interested in my past lives. Like I had to go digging for gold in all the past, here or before. And now what I'm realizing is all I have to do is be. My doing, that's God. That's my understanding of God as a verb. I mean, how can you take a little box of language and sort God out and say God is a noun or God is a verb? So now I'm just saying, hey, it doesn't matter. What matters is we're all one. And I've been working with that. And I'll give you one concrete example as quickly as I can, if I can get this yellow jacket away from me because I'm out in the garden. That the situation is here on this little organic farm, where Larry and I have volunteered before. They have been trying to get the tree trimmers to leave chips for them for 5 years or more. And they just don't get any. And the tree trimmers are going through this little town in Monroe right now. And I came by and I said, Larry, I have wanted to catch up with these tree trimmers whole week. I must do this. And it happened to be after their hours, so they had all their trucks parked at the school. And I said, I'm getting up tomorrow morning and I'm running down there and I'm going to do my full little granny routine and see if I can get chips for them and brighten their day at the same time, because I really don't mind playing the pool when I'm.
Okay. You don't mind
I
playing
love
what?
Pool if it creates a connection of joy and love and reciprocation.
Okay,
for
so
me.
jump to the point. Did it work?
Okay. It worked in spades. I talked to the supervisor. I even offered some sort of win-win reward for them, other than here we are, we're right in town. Very best to get to us after 5 years. And it was like a combination. It's like.
Okay, so the fading in and out brings us to the end. Thank you for your efforts. I'm glad you're getting good results by actually practicing using the tools. We're at the end of our time. It's a Thursday. There will be a support group tonight from 6:30 to 9 Central. Please feel free to join us or forward the information to someone you think might benefit from having it. It's available on the mindshiftersacademy.org website. I'll remind us all that we come from love. We're made of the stuff we call love. We actually are love, and everything else is false. Blessings.